Podcast where we're talking about everything Arkansas Razorback football and basketball every Monday and Friday at 8 a.m. I am your host, OD Oliver. And this is the second part of our Quinn Grovey interview. We're bringing it to you a little bit early. I hope you guys enjoyed the first part, but we're bringing back that second part. So without further ado, let's go. So, Quinn, my next question is, I recently watched your documentary,
Yeah.
and you talk about those stoplight moments,
Yeah.
and you talked about your last game in high school when you lost in the state championship at Arkansas. What was that stoplight game for you? That game that makes you, when you get to the stoplight, you think, man, I could have did this and I could have did that. What game would that have been?
That it would probably be the 1989 Cotton Bowl when we played against UCLA and Troy Aikman.
Right. Hey,
You know, yeah, and it was the '88 season, but it was the '89 Cotton Bowl, and
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I'm thinking this guy's going to be the first pick of the draft. I'm about to show this cat up. That's what I'm thinking. And all week long I'd heard about, Quinn Troy he's going to be throwing the ball. He's going to apply a lot of pressure. You're going to have a balanced attack. You're going to have to throw it. You're going to have to throw it. You're going to have to throw it. You're going to have a balanced attack. I mean, you ain't going to be able just to run it. And so all week long from the media, I heard about this old balanced attack. And we hadn't been to a Cotton Bowl in 13 years at the University of Arkansas. And one of the things that I wanted to do when I came to Arkansas was help lead us back to that. And we were able to do that. And I think that year we were so caught up and so excited about being there. Our fans were so excited about being there that we really didn't get focused and prepared to play. But anyway, I heard all week along about this passing stuff, and I was like, okay, I get it, man. I understand. I got it. Balance attack. Well, anyway, we are in this football game, and we lose the football game, and we go to the press conference, and the media, first thing they asked me, say, Quinn, well, how'd you feel about today? And I was like, well, all week long I heard about this balanced attack, from everyone about how we had to throw the football and be balanced running and passing. Today we had 42 yards total offense, 21 rushing and 21 passing. I gave you a balanced attack, and that didn't work. I mean, so balance is really not the answer right there. I mean, so you just need to be better. You need to execute better. So the balanced attack thing, I gave you a balanced attack, and that didn't work. But that is probably the one that I think about the most, because we had worked so hard to get there. And then we were just so excited about being there that we didn't do what we needed to do to be successful. But that led us to, the focus of winning it again and then going back with a different mindset against Tennessee in that next year's Cotton Bowl. And so, yeah, it fueled me a lot. So that was a stoplight moment for me. And it was a painful one. I mean, thinking about that opportunity that you had, and boy, you just couldn't do anything with it. And being able to get back that next year and see all that same stuff and go through everything that we went through the year before and be able to know how to handle it, that experience was really critical for us. And we set a Cotton Bowl record on offense. Even though we still lost the game 31-27, we definitely performed a whole lot better with over 500 yards total offense.
yeah, that's outstanding, man. That's tough. That'll leave a chip on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, the Razorbacks, they got to play this year with some of those games that they lost last year. They got to play with that chip. I shouldn't even have to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So, but talking about that offense that you guys were running, that the triple option. You ran that offense while you were in high school. So whenever you were recruited to the Razorbacks, when Ken Hatfield, when your teammate Thomas gets hurt, and he comes to you and says, "Hey, you gonna be our guy." Tell me how, in your mind, you were used to running that offense in high school, so it was pretty seamless how you transition that into the next level. What were those nerves like? Because that first game you played, man, you played outstanding, and then you never gave the ball back. You just kept it, and you took off with it. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like when you get that opportunity, you got to be ready to go, and that's what I had to do. I mean, Greg had gotten hurt against Ole Miss in our very first game when I was a freshman, and he was kind of practicing, not a whole lot, but I didn't know I was going to be the starter for the next game. I mean, so they just kind of Coach Hatfield just kind of let me go through the practice aspect of it, being a freshman, probably not really wanting to scare me to death. But about 15 minutes before the Tulsa game, which was the next game in Razorback Stadium, he walked over and said, "Quinn, you're going to start." I was like, "What? Huh?
What?
Wait. Yeah." But he's like, "Man, you practice hard, you're ready, and just go be you." And when you walk into that huddle, I mean, because it was Greg. I mean, Greg was a senior. It was really, his huddle. I was just really trying to keep things together, and so walking into that huddle, I just told the guys, I mean, hey, look, I'm here. I'm gonna give you everything I got, and I'm just gonna rely on y'all to help us out. And so that's what I did. I got the ball to the right players and did what I needed to do, protected the football, and let those other guys do what they needed to do. But I was a nervous wreck. I mean, you're starting, but that's what you want. And so when you get that opportunity, you're nervous, but you're also excited. And that allowed me to kind of get that first taste of winning, being back out there again. Because, when you come from high school and then you redshirt, I mean, you're a whole year without, like, game experience. And so you've got to kind of get that through practices. Yeah, you got to get that through practices or through scrimmages or whatever. But it's still not the same when you're out there and there's 60,000 people and you're the quarterback. You start to learn how important Razorback football is to people when you do things wrong and when you do things right. And so I'm thankful for that experience. I'm thankful for everything with that, and it just worked out extremely well.
That's awesome.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. One thing I always wondered is how you guys as athletes transition from being in front of the lights and the crowds to you leave the end of your careers basically at an end. How is it that you guys transition into just being regular civilians, so to speak? Yeah. How is that transition to go into being just a regular person?
It's hard. It's extremely hard, even on our level. And I think about the people that go to the NFL and then have to do that. At least they were able to extend it how many years. But, I mean, you think about it. I mean, the way you're treated when you come to a big-time university like the University of Arkansas, it was like, police escorts. You got planes, direct flights. You got an escort when you land. It's all those things that whenever I went to work in the corporate world, you standing in line, you going up to the ticket counter, you doing all that kind of thing. You're like, whoa, this ain't what I'm used to. But it's hard to transition that. But the one thing that I'm so fortunate about is, I told you my mom and dad said, if you go to the University of Arkansas and do what you need to do, you'll have a chance to provide for your family in a meaningful way. For me, that meant creating relationships with people during that 5-year period. You can be the quarterback and be so cool that you miss out on a relationship that you may be able to help somebody or they may be able to help you. And this 4 or 5 years, you are the most popular person in the state. You can call anybody, they're going to take your call. So it's really about creating those relationships with people who really care about this program, care about you as a player, care about you as a person. Create those relationships which is going to allow you to make things happen. So I was thinking about life after football in those 4 years. I was thinking about, okay, if I go to the NFL and do something, how am I going to start a foundation and a charity? Who would help me? Who could help me with that? And who do I need to be partnering with now? So later on, when that happens, it's not a cold call. I've created that relationship with people. They understand what I want to do, what I'm looking to do. And so, I tell the players that now. I mean, that this is the biggest time. So don't be too cool to miss out on what can happen in your future. Because you think, hey, I'm the quarterback or I'm the running back, and people you're gonna come up to me and so that's one of the biggest things. So planning for the future, understanding that football is not always going to be a key component. Even if you go to the NFL, you're still going to need people to be in your life that want to help you reach your goals, your dreams, however you want to help people or whatever. So start that these 4 or 5 years when you're the most popular. Create those genuine relationships that's going to allow you to be very, very effective as you move forward through life.
Yeah, appreciate that. Definitely something for the young cats that actually may watch this podcast. That's definitely something they can take from that. Taking a quick break to come in and thank you guys for being a part of the WuPig podcast family. We sincerely want to thank you guys for your comments, your likes, your subscribes, sharing the video. We really appreciate it. And we want to just thank you for that. We hope that you're enjoying this presentation, this video that we're bringing to you. We really hope you're digging it. So before we get up out of here, while we were doing the live stream the other night, one of the subscribers said, hey, man, I would love to, send you a super thanks. And because we hadn't reached that part of our journey, we couldn't accept the super thanks. But it got me to thinking of ways that we could accept, whatever you guys want to, give to us. We want to be able to accept that. So I've created Cash Apps as well as Venmos for the WuPig podcast. While I'm talking, you'll see it flash on your screen. You'll be able to scan the QR code and actually donate straight to the WuPig podcast. Or you can check out our TeeSping account where we got our first shirts. I said what I said with the WuPig podcast logo on there. So you can check that out as well. Now, with me saying all that, let's get back to the show.
Absolutely, man. And you mentioned, how your mother was very instrumental in that, Miss Bobby Jean Grovey. And if you guys hadn't got the opportunity to go and watch that growing up Grovey, please go do that.
Yeah.
But in that, you touched on some of the things that she was dealing with. In 2006, of course, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and unfortunately, she lost her fight in 2015. But it did allow you to do something like you were talking about. You are now on the board with the Frank and Barbara Broyles Foundation for Alzheimer's Caregivers. So just tell me a little bit about that. Just tell me how that's affected the community, and a little bit about that playbook, because we're going to put the link in the description for anybody that's watching this to be able to go and donate and help other people to be able to deal with the situation.
Yeah, man, that whole process it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about my mom. It taught me a lot about Alzheimer's and dementia. And a lot of times you just don't understand it. I mean, like, for me back in the day, I'm sure Alzheimer's and dementia was prevalent, but back then, when you're that little kid and you see the crazy guy walking down the street again, and you go, okay, that's just that crazy guy again.
Mm-hmm.
Just walking down the street. You don't know really what's going on or why things are happening like that. And so, when my mom went through it, it was the toughest thing in the world for me, because that was the strongest lady that I ever knew. And we couldn't hide anything from one another. And to be able to see her succumb to every single level of the disease was very, very difficult. I mean, it was very difficult, and I didn't know anything about it. And I made every mistake in the book as a caregiver. And I'm gonna tell you that playbook that Coach Broyles did, and Betsy, his daughter, and Molly, Betsy's daughter, that they created was something that gave us clarity. It gave us focus because I didn't know what I was going to do. Everything I was doing was completely wrong with that. And so then I had to go ahead and really kind of put back, because everything that I attack it with the mindset of like I'm getting ready for a football game. So I was like, okay, what do I need to know about this disease? I mean, I had to learn about this disease. I had to learn about how it was impacting my mom, because all of it can be different depending on who the patient is. And so I had to really hunker down and go into the film room and try to learn about this disease, because everything I was doing was completely wrong, and all I was doing was upsetting my mom. And once I learned from that playbook of what I could expect, because Coach Broyles wrote that playbook when he was with his daughters, and his wife Barbara was going through it. So he wrote it from a coach's perspective, and that resonated with me as well. But I was just happy to have something that was giving me guidance on this thing called Alzheimer's and dementia. And I was able to get it to my family. We were able to begin to care for my mom in a different way that we knew that, I'll just give you a prime example. One of the worst things you can do in this disease is try to correct somebody or tell them that what they believe is not happening. I spent probably 3 hours one night on the phone with my mom, and she was telling me, hey Quinn, there are people, flying in and out of the window, and they're in the bedroom back there right now. And I'm thinking, okay, Mom, come on now. I need to help you understand that this is really not happening. I can reach you because I know you better than anybody. I know I can reach you, but you're not reaching somebody that is starting to have those mental issues with Alzheimer's and dementia. You're not reaching. So the best thing you can do is, redirect and try to get them thinking about something different. So I spent 3 hours on the phone with her, talking to her about that and trying to convince her that that is not happening. And so then I went the next day. I said, I'll be home. So I went home and installed all these cameras and all that stuff because I wanted to be able to show her. But that was still the bad thing. 2 weeks later, it happened again. And I was like, let's pull up the camera. Let's take a look at it. And she was like, oh, they tricked the camera. Oh, they tricked it. And so, I'm sitting here trying to convince her that this is not going on. But had I had that playbook early on, I wouldn't have spent that time doing that. I would have spent that time going, my mom is scared to death at home. And I'm sitting here trying to convince her that what she believes is real is not happening. So that playbook would have helped me in my mindset right there go, I need to get my mom's mind off of that, or I need to get somebody to go over there. I should have been more concerned about that. And I had to learn. So I learned about that. And we learned how to take care of her in the right way. But there's so many mistakes that people make that make their loved one's day a little bit more hectic than it needs to be. Because really all it is, it's really about making sure that every minute that you're with them is a good minute. And if that 1 minute is bad, figure out a way to make that next minute good. And change the subject, do whatever you have to. But I'm thankful for my mom and dad. They were so great for me. And the documentary we did was nominated for an Emmy. So the first time I've ever done that. And so we were excited about it. And I'm thankful for everything that was a part of it.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you being transparent, man, and being vulnerable. That means a lot. So we just want to, make sure everyone knows to go look in the description. It's the Frank and Barbara Broyles Foundation for Alzheimer's Caregivers, and it's the playbook. And you can donate to that and just help some other families that might be going through this situation. You can see how it also helped Quinn a great deal. So yeah, just go to that.
Well, here's the thing too.
And help out.
Here's the thing too, G. Is like that disease is prevalent. I mean, it's out there. So if somebody has not been impacted by that disease, you probably will at some point in time. And so being able to have resources that can help you when it's your turn up to bat, is really, really big.
Yeah.
Facts.
Well, I know we only got you for a few more minutes, but one thing that really stood out to me in the documentary is your father and how much of a hard worker he was. Can you talk about briefly how much that impacted you as leaving home, becoming a college athlete, as well as how it has impacted you as an adult?
Yeah, my dad was he was a master sergeant in the Army, and so he's all about work ethic. He's all about being buttoned up. He's all about being tight. And so he's a guy that worked. He did the Army thing, but then when we moved came back to Duncan, he found a way to build houses, do a lot of different things. I mean, he found a way to provide additional income for our family. But the thing about it was always going to be about hard work with him. And I will tell you, I appreciate it a lot more today than I did when I was a kid, because he was a Saturday morning. He's messing up that Hong Kong Phooey time. You want to watch some cartoons? I would blast from the past. Hong Kong Phooey. Yeah. That was so cool. He pop out of that closet flying through the air. Oh, Hong Kong Phooey was tough, man. But you mess up that time on Saturday morning. Yeah. So he was all about getting you out of that bed, shaking you, and you knew you were we always had gardens, so you're gonna be shucking some corn, pulling some corn, some okra, whatever, in that morning. So you knew you wasn't gonna be free to do anything fun until about 4:00 that on Saturday, every Saturday. And so I learned a lot about hard work for him. And I mean, he's a guy that just challenged you. And he was so important to my life as well. And he was one hell of an athlete too. I mean, the guy was 70 years old, still playing pickup basketball. So he could go. Speedy. He could go at Speedy. That's right. Hey, that joker. He go right. He gonna beat you to the spot. He gonna lean like that and drop that thing on you. He could score, man, even at 70. Wow. But I had to watch him a little bit more when he was 70, because you had some of them young Thundercats that were, I ain't gonna let this old man do nothing to me. And they want to, kind of get physical and stuff. And that means they're like, I ain't no fighter, but it's gonna be time to fight. you messing with pops like that. So we're gonna have to go after that one. But yeah, he was important. And you're not gonna find two better people, man. And we talked about my mom, but my dad, and just what they did with that community storm shelter. They wanted to have that community storm shelter. And that's really one of the biggest things about that documentary we're proud of. In 1990, they tried to get that storm shelter up and running, couldn't get it up and running. And we were finally able to get that going. And so, the people of Duncan, and definitely on our side of town, they have a place that if a tornado is coming, they know that storm shelter is going to be open. It'll hold about 35 to 40 people. And so if you don't have a cellar, you can get on over there and get on in there. And my mom and dad wanted to do that in 1990, and we didn't get it done until 2020. After they passed away and all that, and we were trying to sell every piece of property we had in Duncan to kind of get out of that. But that at one piece of property where that storm shelter was sitting on, nobody wanted it. Nobody. I mean, it was overgrown with grass and trees and stuff. And I finally got with my brothers and said, let's do what mom and dad wanted us to do. Let's make that a community storm shelter. So I got with a couple of guys. They cleared that lot. They laid field turf down. We got the cellar where it no longer leaks. Mm-hmm. And we made it. So we beautified the corner, and we giving people a place to go if things. And like I said, we put it on the folks in Duncan to do that. So we've given keys to several people out there that understand that when the bad weather hits, they're going to go over there and unlock it and just be there. Whoever wants to get in it. And hopefully you never have to use it. But I love the fact that it's there if you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we got 2 more minutes on the clock, G. We got to give them that last question.
Okay, so I need you to not necessarily settle something, but one of the things that we always argue about amongst ourselves and just with the banter back and forth on the podcast is the quarterbacks at Arkansas in Arkansas history. So I know you're a humble guy. I've known you for quite some time, but I want you to give me your top 5 quarterbacks, including
Oh
yourself. I mean,
wow. Oh
give me your top 5 quarterbacks, and but just I mean, I know you. I already know what you're thinking right now. So, but give me your top 5 Arkansas quarterbacks.
Man, that's almost like giving you a record prediction. That man, that would be. Oh my goodness gracious! It'd be very very hard for me to do that. Now, what I will say, I mean, one of the things that I focused in on is winning football games, and so.
Next.
I'm one of the most winningest quarterbacks in school history, and I'm the only quarterback to help a team get to 2 Cotton Bowls or 2 conference championships. So I'm proud of that.
Thanks.
But we've had some great quarterbacks, man, and to rank that, I'm just going. I know y'all want me to say something, but I ain't gonna do it. I would prefer y'all continue to banter with that. But there's too many great guys out there, man, that I would just hate to say a top 5. Woo, that's a tough one.
Do you consider yourself the number 1 quarterback in Arkansas Razorback history?
See,
he don't say that. He never answered.
I gotta get something. Out of him.
Say that.
No, man,
he is not going to say that, bro.
I'm gonna go and stay away from that one too. I love to answer it. I do have my thoughts on that, but my thoughts I do not need. Sometimes you don't need to share your thoughts. And
I understand.
So I'm a lay low on that one and just say I'm happy to be
man, you can't knock us for asking.
I would ask too. The question is going to be whether or not I would answer. I mean, so yeah.
Oh man. Well, we know you got to get out of here. Your time is precious. We appreciate the hour that you gave us in the WuPig podcast family. We are definitely grateful for it. We appreciate it. And again, thanks for coming on and gracing us with your presence. Okay.
Yeah, fellas, I appreciate it, man. Y'all call me back. We'll during football season, whatever. If y'all want to chop it up some more, let me know. And I'm in. I like what you guys are doing, and I think y'all are about to do bigger and bigger things. So any way I can assist, just let me know.
We appreciate that.
The love, Grovey.
All right, fellas.
Well,
all right.
With that being said, y'all know what it is, man. I said what I said.